Whenever you ask someone who their favorite hero is, the most common answer is a emo millionaire with a lot of daddy issues, or another millionaire with daddy issues that really likes painting Warhammer figurines. Or they could say something so obscure to look all nerdy like Darkhawk. He used to say it all funny like Darkhawk. Really funny, guys. Or the most standard blockhead meta male answer possible, Spider-Man. So let's talk about my favorite superhero.
Spider-Man, a Spider-Man, does whatever a spider can, spins away.
Let me fix that for you.
There we go again. Swinging through the city so fast you can barely notice him. Wild problems, you know what's that?
Spider-Man is a freaking juggernaut of comics, quickly becoming one of the most famous superheroes of all time. And it has brought some fan favorite movies and really popular movies, like And then we have the series that have been really hit or miss, most of them a miss. But now we have a new contender, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. At first sight, I thought, okay, Disney doing Disney shit. But I mean, at the same time, it's Spider-Man. So I gave it the benefit of the doubt and I started watching it while I was animating my Monster Hunter video that you should watch after this video. And at first, I wasn't feeling the show, but slowly it started getting better, with signs of it possibly becoming a really great show. But we can't talk about the Spider-Man series without talking about the elephant in the room, a little series called Spectacular Spider-Man. If you're a Spider-Man fan, you know what this series is about. And you know I'm right, so tap me up, boy. But if you don't know what I'm talking about and you are just hovering over the Marvel series and Spider-Man movies, you probably haven't heard about it. Or you probably heard something about it and you have curiosity, or you are sick of hearing about it because everyone talks about this series. And you hate popular shit because it feels heavy to watch something so popular, and you need to feel different and hate things everybody likes because you think that makes you the most interesting person in the room. So, have I told you I don't like GTA? So, sadly to your friendly neighborhood Spidey, a new Spider-Man product cannot exist without being compared to Spectacular. That's just the shit that happens when you create something so freaking good and then cancel it out of nowhere. People are going to expect something at the same level, and when you keep feeding them garbage, they aren't going to let go of the only good thing they have. So I'm gonna talk about what I found cool about this series and why I think it still needs to prove itself more to reach the level of Spectacular. Of course, spoilers ahead for both series. If you don't want to get spoiled, I'm sorry. If you don't care, it's okay, but you are weak. But watch the series, you're gonna like them. So back to the new kid on the block, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Okay, at first sight the series doesn't look that good, and I think it's a common critique everyone and their mother have. It's not a secret that is nothing pretentious about it.
You don't understand. We're attempting to make it look like the old comics. If you pause any frame, it will give you the old comic vibe.
Bullshit. There are things that you can do and things that you can't. I know it's stupid for me to compare like this, but Spider-Verse is trying the same shit, and it works because they know how to implement it. And I mean, they had a couple of millions to spare in the budget. But here, it just doesn't work. It makes the characters look stiff, it makes the animation look sloppy, and it just doesn't give any vibes of comic at all outside of the intro cards of every episode. If you can't achieve what you're going for, I'm sorry, just turn around and try again from other angles. Scenes that need to give heavy interactions with characters or action scenes just don't hit. These scenes are just going to be brushed off and they are nothing special, but at the same time they don't take you out of the story or the scene. Most of the time.
Why are you running? Why are you running? Yeah?
But I'm sorry, this isn't working. It takes so much away from the series. Even moments that you can see the movement flow smoothly, like some dialogue scenes or gentle acting, that look really good, they are limited by the way the character models are made. That's why I say they look heavy, and it doesn't help that most of the character designs are just bland. They are boring. This character looks like a freaking NPC, and this one, and this one. Which one of these characters do you think appear as a regular one, huh? Did you say the almost interesting but bland stereotypical Russian lady?
Что к черту мне с этим делать?
No, she has 10 minutes of screen time, tops. This NPC-looking guy appears in multiple episodes and even has his season finale scene, but I don't care about him or who he is. The voice actor isn't doing a bad job at all, and the writers have more important things to take care of, so I don't care about him. or if he's important, it's just a dull character like Hair, or like any gang member from Tombstone Gallery. I only remember this guy because he was funny a couple of times. And I don't want to be disrespectful to the animated black guy, but he looks weird. And that weird factor makes him more memorable than any of the main character goobers. And the lack of character design really bothers me because we have main characters with NPC energy, but then we have characters like Dr. Octopus that are just perfect. I may not like how this series look, but I think without being all cute about this interpretation of Dr. Octopus is my favorite in any medium.
Что мне с этим делать?
Вы это оденете, мисс Мазарик.
I've picked up a language or 5 in my spare time.
This design is just amazing. He looks so freaking menacing, and you get why he's turning into the dark side. The Spectacular Spider-Man 1 was a little bit more in the cute and dorky side, because that was part of his character to punch you in the gut when he became the master planner. But you just gotta love this Dr. Octopus, he's such a freaking blast.
Edge research.
You're playing that game again, aren't you?
And he has what is probably my favorite scene of the series, but more about that later. This series starts slow and starts with something I kinda hate. It begins with Peter having his morning routine and missing the train and shit, and then reaching the school in time thanks to Aunt May. And once he steps into his new smart kid school, yeah, here everyone is smart, so no more of those characters with normal grey matter that cut our hearts in other series. But okay, literally frame 1 we get a Doctor Strange fight scene. And don't get me wrong, it's okay, the fight is serviceable, and the superhero saves people! Yes, we did it! Superheroes doing hero shit! But here's my problem. Yeah, that fast, I'm sorry, I'm basic, Spider-Man is my favorite superhero. But the addition of Doctor Strange this fast only takes away from Spider-Man. This is a Spider-Man series. We want to watch Spider-Man. I don't know why they need to shove other properties into it. I know Spider-Man obviously shares the universe with other heroes in the comics, and the Daredevil thing was okay. But I don't need the Civil War shoved into my Spider-Man series, or Iron Man, or Doctor Strange. It's almost like they are building up to a colossal thing happening with lots of heroes in the future of the series, when Spider-Man should be a story about Spider-Man and his friends and enemies sharing the same space and time. Peter's struggles are enough for us. Trust in these characters and your writing capacity instead of trying to shove your MCU movies propaganda into it. A Spectacular Spider-Man was enough by its own, and we all know that the Ultimate Spider-Man freaking died and it was shoved to the freaking brim with other Marvel properties. Just let Spider-Man be Spider-Man, man. That's all we want, that's all we need. I know, I should let them cook, we don't know where this is going. This could have been all the Marvel cameos, and Strange was just there to let Pete become Spidey, using his time wizard powers and shit. Because this universe is not like the others, even though it's kinda exactly like the MCU shit. Only that it's not Tom Holland, but it kind of is. But okay, whatever. This is just a point I wanted to talk about, and me don't like, me dumb. Me just saying Mandalorian Season 1, really good. Mandalorian with other Star Wars properties everywhere? Bleh. I just watched Daredevil, which needs its own video. But Season 1, fantastic. Season 3, magnificent. Season 2, where they brought all the other shit for other shows, wakala. Get that shit out of here. Almost made me stop watching altogether. So, after the series moves a little bit more into the meat of the story, we start losing those MCU connections, and we start to finally experience what this new Spider-Man is about. And it's kinda good. They turn Osborn into someone Peter trusts with his secret. I mean, he found out in a pretty silly way, but one that is believable and it plays with our expectations. Maybe this Osborn is not a bad guy like in literally any other Spider-Man product. But then we see Osborn show his true colors and the Green Goblin technology. We start getting uneasy and more when he takes that old Spider-Man saying, the one from which this whole comic was based around.
Remember, with great power comes great responsibility.
And when we are getting it from this magnificent melanin goblin, he says,
with great power comes great respect. And if you don't have respect, you have nothing.
Oh shit, I don't know about you, but that really got me. That shows us a Spider-Man in his forming years, having his father figure being someone more evil than what we are accustomed to. Here, Uncle Ben wasn't the one that gave Peter the speech. Here, he didn't help him grow into what will become a superhero.
Uncle Ben said that with great power comes great responsibility. But shouldn't my first responsibility be to the people who rely on Peter Parker?
Here, the villain is rising the hero, and that is freaking amazing. We can see Spider-Man fighting an inner battle that he hasn't had before. In Spectacular Spider-Man, Tombstone tells Peter to work for him, and just like that, he will have his domestic life safe. He could help Aunt May, have money, be safe, and only work when needed. He could have more time for his friends and partners. But Spider-Man isn't like that. He was raised to be better. But in here, he wasn't. He's still being raised, and we can see what a darker Spider-Man can look like. We can see how people he saved, and which he had some interactions as Peter too, help him realize what kind of hero he wants to be, not what kind of hero others want him to be. And that is really cool. This series works with phenomenal set pieces that makes Spider-Man feel like a Spider-Man again, and slowly is building up what will become the villains of the show. We know about the Green Goblin, but then Big Don called Lanny Lincoln, and my genuine reaction was, that's Tombstone's name! And then he does gain the Tombstone's nickname.
We should call you Tombstone. Tombstone?
Preparing us for what will become a heartbreaking dispute between two former friends. Also, Doc Ock, like I said, off. Perfect. And Scorpio was built upon really well. Well, I mean, they used him really well. Built upon? Like I said, Spectacular has really cool character development in the villains.
Chill. You have to give yourself time to adjust.
Adjust to what? This?
We meet them and we see them transform into what will become super villains. Here, he does something and then he does something worse just because. But okay, it gave us a magnificent scene of Peter getting the shit beaten out of him, showing us that he needs to take this more seriously, and at the same time, we see how freaking evil Osborn is. He steals blood from Peter while he is unconscious, and then starts doing secret tests with his blood with the help of Mr. Peanut Butter to create a spider that can make another Spider-Man. That will become the spider that bites Peter in the past and blah 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 blah. It's okay, trust me. But scenes like this give us the feeling that this series is more than the Ultimates and whatever the shit this was. This series is taking itself seriously and is not holding any punches back. That beating Peter gets, it's brutal, and a freaking reality check our character needs from time to time, giving me hope that the writers know what the fuck they are doing. And no scene shows this more than the conversation between Doc Ock and Osborn. You see, when you're writing a movie, a series, or whatever, there are two categories that are really hard to write: comedy and horror. But something that every category shares that is freaking hard to do is the dialogues.
Never forget what you are. The rest of the world will not. Wear it like armor, and it can never be used to hurt you.
Dialogues are something only the masters of masters can master.
You know what they call a quarter pounder with cheese in France?
No.
Tell him, Vincent.
Royale with cheese.
Royale with cheese.
Just look at Arcane Season 1 dialogues, or Game of Thrones dialogues, in the first seasons. A conversation can be as freaking hype as any fight scene can get, and this conversation scene between these two villains is just freaking clean.
What are you babbling on about? Stark might be wearing the armor, but I put you here.
From start to finish, they talk in a believable way, they talk as the characters would, and they shift who is carrying the power in the conversation multiple times, grabbing us by the balls and letting us feel the tension, and this is freaking amazing. They struck the sweet spot, because a dialogue can't sound as you speak on your day-to-day, because any Reese or Gaiat or some stupid meme I don't know will make this scene cringe and would date them.
I just do that?
Well, definitely with my assistance.
I did not just do that.
But making them too realistic and making them use Shakespearean lingo and shit like that will take you out of the scene too.
Unlike sand, it's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere.
They can't feel too out of reality or robotic.
I did not hit her. It's not true. It's bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
So, hitting that sweet gold is such a freaking hard thing to accomplish, and the fact that they did gives me the hope that this series will become something amazing. So, like a 6 or a 7 out of 10. But I'ma be real with you here. I don't think it will or that it can become as good as Spectacular Spider-Man. I'm gonna go into why. Just chill. Sheesh, read, motherfucker. Spectacular Spider-Man not only has a better intro theme and art style, but it is true a Spider-Man series, because MCU wasn't a thing back then. This series wasn't poisoned by other existing franchises. We had a Spider-Man property, and that's it. No other heroes, no other universes. This was Spider-Man on its peak, baby! And just like movies are getting it until now, this shit was streets ahead because it didn't bore us with the origins of Spider-Man. We start with Peter fighting crime and shit, and when we see the origins, oh, it hits so much harder because they use it in a magnificent ways. But that is getting ahead of myself. First, let's talk about the difference between these Peters.
Poor Peter Parker.
In the new series, Peter is the cute young boy who is lost and needs help from others to go in the right path as a Spider-Man. Something everyone hated about Tom Holland's Spider-Man is that he was a freaking Iron Man stan. And well, we didn't like our boy Spider-Man having to kiss some other hero's feet to, be Spider-Man. And that movie goes to show how he indeed can be Spider-Man by himself. He needs nobody. He is enough. And this series might be going in the same way, but it takes away from the loneliness of being Spider-Man. Everyone dreams with having superpowers and being a superhero. Or a villain. I don't know you do you. I know I have a couple of slow walkers that need to be taught a lesson or two. But one of the most important things with Spider-Man stories is how this could have happened to anyone. Peter is common folk, and everything he gets, it's because he fucking fights for it. He isn't invited to Osborn Corp because they know he's Spider-Man. He befriends Harry, he is his best friend, but he isn't given a place in the organization just because. He needs to win those privileges. He works for someone else, but without pay, and that is what makes him search for an income taking photos of himself. And not in an OnlyFans page, if you're thinking about that. No, those didn't exist back then. He would have made a lot more money with that shit. But no, Peter goes in search of a way to help his Aunt May by himself, by his own. And all of that while having to keep appearances in school, being bullied, and failing to be a friend to the ones he has, while still having to deal with multiple growing mafias all by his own. Peter is alone. This is a lonely and painful life he didn't choose. That's why everything feels so heavy and personal. He needs to live up to everyone's expectations, and he shows his strength, willpower, and intelligence while doing it. Just look at him reaching his peak performance to save Gwen, or him using his mind to defeat the Sinister Six by his own. This new Peter couldn't do this. He can't do shit by his own. He always needs to have someone in his ear or by his side to help him to get the advantage. He never feels in true danger. The only time we feel that is when he is left alone, for the only time in the series, and he gets, well, you know.
Stop! He's already dead!
Whilst here, he doesn't have anyone to help him find the weaknesses or someone to give him better technology. He needs to come up with the answers on the fly by his own, showing us that he truly is the smartest in the room. He has the courage and the wit. He is freaking Spider-Man. But okay, aside from those core things about Spider-Man, the loneliness and the fact he is smart and shit, there is something this series has that no other superhero series has. Aside from Batman. That shit is lit. This series is artistic. Not in a I'm gonna make my shots look like comic kind of artistic, but real artistic shit. Remember how I said the origin story of Spider-Man actually came to play later? Well, it does in this amazing episode called The Intervention.
Geek, that proves you're still a stuck-up egghead. A guy who can't even see when his friends are trying to help.
Where the symbiote is trying to get a hold of Peter forever, but while he's trying to take over his mind, the memory of Uncle Ben comes to his rescue, and it shows us the origin of Spider-Man and how he decided to become a hero by his own, how his decisions make him the man he is today, and how everyone gives him strength, and not because they are telling him the weak spot of the enemies through a Bluetooth device, but because he wants to protect them, and all of that in these beautiful black and white scenes. That represents the darkness and light inside Spider-Man, the duality he thinks he has inside of him, and everything they say swing him more to one side or the other. Get it? Swing like Spider-Man and the web and shit. Just subscribe. I'm funny, I swear. Making this decision of the black and white shit deliberate. It is showing something. It's not just artificial artistry. It is used to boost the storytelling. And it shows us that inside Peter there is doubt and darkness too. Inside him there are two wolves. Sorry. He isn't a perfect little boy. He is indeed a human being with his own problems. But no matter what, he will always choose to be Spider-Man.
Spidey's not a disease that needs a cure, and he's more than just a random bug bite too. Spider-Man is who I am. My destiny.
And this is not the only part of the series where this kind of storytelling takes place. We have the mafia brawls at the Son of the Opera they were going to use to cover their activities, showing how they show themselves to the public as high status people, but in reality underneath everything they have dirty hands. And as we see what they truly are, we hear how they present themselves and how people saw them. The episode where Spider-Man has to escape a prison while every villain from the series tries to kill him, while he has to take the decision of helping the man that killed Uncle Ben or let him rot in prison and make one of the only characters in his side hate him forever, and all of that while everything syncs with a play that is going on the school, a play that Peter needs to reach on time to keep his relationship with his girlfriend, and all of this while the Green Goblin is reciting the play while fucking with Spidey.
Am that merry wonder of the night.
So, Goblin wasn't the only sprite to use the vault for mischief tonight.
Making the connection that this fucker needs to know what is going on in the school, playing into the idea of Harry being the Goblin. Episodes where the villains are the main focus and have a lot of development, or episodes that use different settings to help uncover a twist about a villain returning into the franchise, and using these framing devices to develop the characters too. Just look at Peter on Flash Birthday's Party, because they used to be best friends, and then they reveal why his nickname is Flash.
Who do you think gave Eugene his nickname? And hey, it wasn't because he ran fast.
I was 4, okay?
Just these characters, man, they are freaking real, all of them, and their characters' designs varies in shape, form, color, and this is fucking big. The only kinda blind character design is Peter, because it's deliberate. He's the only bland looking NPC-like dude, because that works with the fact that no one suspects him from being Spider-Man. He's the everyday guy, and also helps fit into the idea that anyone could be Spider-Man. He is a canvas, a dull guy just like you and me. And that's why, for the moment, I don't think another Spider-Man series is getting to the level of spectacular. And I mean, I didn't make this video only to bash on the new woke Spider-Man series. I did it because I genuinely think that if they keep going in the Spider-Man direction and they forget all about the MCU shit, this series can be really, really great. Right now, I like it, and I think it deserves a spot behind the spectacular when it comes to Spider-Man series. But if it tries to go too big and starts focusing on adding more heroes and other properties, Spider-Man can get lost in translation, just like in Ultimate Spider-Man, and it will become just one more series of the Forgotten Bunch in the Disney Plus graveyard. Hey, say hi to Star Wars for me! I truly believe we can have a contender for a well-earned second spot. A really great series, instead of just the best garbage out of all the other garbage. Even if this series keeps just telling the story straight, just like any other Marvel project, this feels like a Marvel series that happens to be a Spider-Man show. While Spectacular feels like a Spider-Man show that happens to be a Marvel property. If this video convinced you on watching any of this series, I consider my job done. And if you don't know where to watch Spectacular Spider-Man because of Disney wanting Sony to hide this under the largest rock in the earth so we can forget what we have, I don't know, go and search for the One Piece if you know what I mean.